Season's greetings, Sega fans! It's Dan the Mega Driver of the Sega Guys here, and it's that time of year where it's fun to get a little bit festive. There's a few games on my Christmas playlist rotation, Christmas Nights into Dreams and Snatchered being two of the biggest, but this year I've enjoyed revisiting an old classic. In this short video, we're going to take a look at Phantasy Star Online, the current Christmas update and how you can play it. Phantasy Star Online launched on the Dreamcast in the year 2000 in Japan and 2001 in the West. It was the game that finally made good on the Dreamcast promise of online gaming. Sure, there were online titles beforehand, but this was the first truly epic online console experience. Sadly, it came late enough in the Dreamcast lifecycle that the console itself was discontinued shortly after. But that wasn't the end of PSO. With a version 2 update released in 2001 on Dreamcast in all regions, along with a PC port, a GameCube port in 2002, and then a port to the Microsoft Xbox in 2003. It was on Xbox where the game really got its second lease of life for me. While the original Dreamcast version was free, though the dial-up internet charges could be quite painful, on Xbox not only did I have to pony up for Xbox Live, but Sega introduced the Hunter's license, similar to that of the version 2 update on the Dreamcast. Still, despite the cost and the more restrictive region locking on the console, PSO on Xbox became probably my most played game on that platform, and my Hunter's license continued to be renewed all the way up until Phantasy Star Universe in 2006. As such, I got years out of Phantasy Star Online, and a big part of that was the events that would usually appear. Of course, nothing lasts forever, and the Dreamcast servers were turned off in 2003, while the Xbox ones were finally turned off in 2007. But, thanks to the community, Phantasy Star Online has continued to live on for decades now. For years, it has been possible to play various versions of Phantasy Star Online, via private servers. There's a few options, most prominently Regol, Ultima, Silverant and Shitserve, and the best server largely depends on the platform that you will be playing on. After 17 years without my beloved Xbox version of Phantasy Star Online, I have relished finally getting back into the Xbox version this year, and, inspired by the season, I decided to log on recently to see if the old Christmas events would appear on the server. And as you can see, I was not disappointed. This is the Stack server, and upon logging in, I was greeted by the sounds of jingle bells, a festive colour scheme, lights and Christmas trees. It really felt like I was travelling back in time to experience an old digital Christmas from over 20 years ago. After joining a team or creating your own, you're whisked away to the good old Pioneer 2 hub world, which is also decked out with Christmas trees, Merry Christmas signs, and there are images of falling snow and fireworks and stars in the sky. The main game from here, if you just want to jump into the usual dungeons, is pretty much unchanged. However, it's when you go into the events themselves that the Christmas celebrations really begin. When you go over to the Hunters Guild, you can go into the menu, select Store and Events, and from there you will see a couple of Christmas themed missions. The first is Pioneer Christmas, where you are tasked with taking Christmas wrapping to the cake shop with the help of some CPU controlled allies. It's short, with a focus on Switch puzzles rather than the usual PSO combat. The run is made even more festive by the presence of rappies in Christmas garb, though whatever you do, don't tell them about the festive tradition of eating Christmas turkey. Christmas Fiasco, meanwhile, is a much more straightforward quest, as you're tasked with clearing all the enemies of monsters in 30 minutes so that the crew on Pioneer 2 can enjoy their Christmas party. This ends up being more of a TTF style mission that works as a quick tour of PSO's dungeons. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any fellow hunters at the time during much of this capture, so I ended up dying. A lot. But I have had some great sessions with other players while testing this initially, and that classic PSO gameplay just holds up so well. But it isn't the dungeon crawling in these missions that's the real draw. Start a mission and you'll find yourself in the usual hub, but with Christmas themes that are dialed up to the max. Every NPC that you speak to will talk about Christmas, with all of them espousing some super excited dialogue about the season. To top it all off, a version of Dreams from Nights into Dreams will play in the hub area during these segments. It's not a Christmas song per se, but the connection to Christmas nights is undeniable. It truly is a beautiful thing to behold, stepping through an online portal to be taken back to a time when online play was a little bit more innocent, when events weren't there to sell you skins or microtransactions, and all of it just brought back the feeling of playing Phantasy Star Online during the early 2000s. So how do you get online? It varies by system. You can play Blue Burst on the PC easy enough by downloading from a number of private server sites and following the setup instructions. On Dreamcast, things are a little bit more complex. You'll need a Dream Pi to get online with a line voltage adapter. I did attempt this with a direct PC connection that I had seen online, but I had no such luck getting it working. Still, many Dreamcast gamers are still playing PSO online with these setups. On GameCube, you'll need the increasingly costly broadband modem adapter to play on real hardware, though the setup here does seem a little bit easier than on Dreamcast. You can of course play emulated, which makes the whole thing a doddle. As I mentioned on this video, I myself played on Xbox. This process is a little bit more involved. You'll need to soft mod your console with the Rocky 5 hack, or have a stock console that can use a USB to Xbox converter. Then you'll need to sign up for Insignia, which is the fan-made Xbox Live replacement for the console. Then you'll need to load the Insignia tool, wait for the registration, and then you can play PSO along with many other Xbox Live games. Full setup instructions can be found in the links below, which go into much more detail to get you online. However you go about setting up your platform of choice, going back to Phantasy Star Online really is quite magical. If you're playing on Xbox or GameCube, drop me a line, because those two platforms are able to play together, and I am, after all, a little bit lonely. But that's all for this quick video. Needless to say, there'll be more Phantasy Star Online content in the future. And whether you're playing PSO online or not, we hope that you have a fantastic Christmas. See you on the Sega side.